Have you ever wondered what putters you should be throwing as a beginner? Let's look in my bag and see what my putters of choice are. Hey guys, my name is Chris and I am the content creator here at Moose Disc Golf. Today we are going to be looking into my bag and taking a look at which putters I am throwing as a beginner disc golfer. So a little backstory, I've been playing disc golf for about a month and a half, and these are the discs that I chose when I first started out. So these are only my recommendations for me as a personal player. I would love to hear which discs you guys are using and why you choose them for beginner discs. And after you do that, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you are kept up to date on new content as it comes out. All right, before we get into all of that good content about which discs I'm throwing, I have to get a little technical on you guys. First, I need to explain what the numbers on the discs mean and where they came from. So a little history lesson. A few years ago, way back when, Innova came up with a disc rating system, and it is based on 4 categories. It's based on speed, glide, fade, and turn. Okay, so the very first category that we are going to be looking at is the speed category. So speed is the ability of the disc to cut through the air. So naturally, a higher rated speed is going to fly through the air a lot faster, and with faster flying discs, they're going to go farther. Now, as we talk through putters today, you will see that a lot of these discs are lower in speed and then are slower discs, so they take a little bit more power to throw. The next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is glide. So glide describes the disc's ability to maintain loft during flight. So discs with more glide are best for us as new players. Glide is again rated from 1 to 7. And beginners are looking for glide in that 5 to 7 range because that will allow you to throw the disc a little bit farther. The third category we're going to look at is turn. High speed turn is the tendency of the disc to turn over or bank to the right. During the initial part of the flight, a disc with a +1 rating is more resistant to turning over. So it will resist turning right, and a -5 rating will turn the most to the right. So again, if you're thinking about shot shapes, a -5 rated disc on the turn category is going to be good for a roller disc for a right-handed backhanded shot. It's going to want to turn over and then take that into a roll down the fairway. On the converse and opposite side, we're going to take a look at the last category, which is fade. So low speed fade is basically talking about the tendency for it to hook left at the end of the flight. So naturally, when a disc spins, it's going to want to fade to the left, and the higher the rating for fade means that the more left-hand turn it will have. So a lot of putters, especially these ones that we're going to be looking at, are going to have a low fade number because they're going to finish pretty straight. So discs with a high fade rating are very predictable even in wind. And this will come in handy when we start talking about our mid-ranges and fairway drivers in further content. And with that, thank you Innova for making our lives as disc golf players a little bit easier in figuring out what the discs are supposed to do, and yet so hard to remember what all those numbers mean. So the very first putter that I ever picked up and has been my go-to putter for the past 1.5 to 2 months that I've been playing disc golf is the Innova AVR. Now this one is in the DX plastic, and a fair warning, DX plastic for Innova is their base plastic. It's the soft plastic. It will get chewed up and beat in very, very quickly in that plastic. So let's dive in and take a look at some of the stats for the Innova AVR. All right, the Innova AVR is again a putt and approach putter. It is a very stable putter, and its skill level is rated for everyone, but really it's an awesome disc for beginners. So when we look at our 4 categories as we talked through before, we have a speed of 3, which is a very slow disc, a glide of 2.5, so it's not super glidey, so it will die out fairly quickly, a turn of 0, and a fade of 1, which means the turn is not going to go right at all, and it's going to fade a little bit at the end, so it's going to have a little bit of a slow fade to the left at the end of the flight. So that is shown here in our flight path, which is powered by Inbounds. Thank you, Inbounds. So you can see that as we throw the disc, it will fly pretty straight, and toward the end, it'll fade off to the left. So this is really what we're looking for in a putter. All right, the second putter that we're going to be talking about is the Latitude 64 Pure. It has become one of my favorite putters just because it holds its line extremely well. This one, again, is in that soft plastic, so it will get beat in. So let's dive in and take a look at the stats for the Latitude 64 Pure. All right, the Latitude 64 Pure, the stats for this one, again, it's a putt and approach disc. It's a very stable disc, and it's recommended for beginners and everyone. The speed on this one is a speed 3. So again, a slower disc. The glide is a 3, so it's got a little bit more glide than the AVR. Turn is -1, so it's going to want to turn over to the right a little bit. And the fade of 1, meaning that it's going to want to end back to the left a little bit at the end. So if we look at the flight path, you can kind of see a distinct difference toward the end of the flight path between this Pure and the AVR. The Pure is going to end very, very straight at the end, and that's mainly due to the turn and the fade kind of counteracting themselves at the end. Again, this is an awesome, awesome putter. Get your hands on this one. I enjoy this putter very much. We've gone through 2 of the 3. The last one, and this one was featured in my last video when I talked about the backhand shot. This is the Discraft Soft Challenger, and this disc is, again, an amazing disc. It flies really well. Again, this is kind of in that soft plastic, so it will beat in a little more quickly than a harder plastic or a premium plastic. So let's dive in on this third one, and we will take a look at the stats behind the Discraft Soft Challenger. All right, the Soft Challenger is a putt and approach disc. Its stability is labeled as overstable, and that is because the fade is a number 2, which is a little bit higher than what we've seen between the Pure and the AVR. So let's take a look at the speed is a 2. The glide is a 3. Turn is 0, so it's not going to want to turn over. And the fade is a 2. So it's going to have a bigger fade at the end than what we saw with the Pure and the AVR. So when we look at the flight path, like I said, you can see that that disc is going to turn to the left at the very end when it starts to slow down. And this is good for, those shorter putts. It'll stay on that straight line. But as a longer disc, it's going to be good for those left-handed turn shots when you have to get it out past a certain point and turn it to the left a little bit. And with that, you guys have seen all the putters in my bag. Please comment below and tell me what you think of the putters that I'm throwing. Which one would you choose? And if you could put another putter in my bag, which one would it be, and tell me why? Also, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, like this video, hit the little bell so you get notified for all the future content that I'm going to put out. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the world of disc golf and that you're having fun. And I'll see you later, everybody. Take care.